Hello YouTube, how are you today? This is Chrysanthemum Vaughn. Um, this is just a video. It's on a Thursday afternoon. Okay, today I wanted to talk about the LA riots, which will be the 20th anniversary on Saturday. Where were you? Where was I? I was sitting at my sister's house watching it on TV. The very first things that happened, in disbelief, did not realize that that was really happening, thinking that it was a TV show, but then it was saying that it was the news. I think it was Channel 7 News, which is KABC in Los Angeles. And I'm not understanding where it was. I'm just kept saying to myself, that looks so familiar. That corner looks so familiar. Well, my dad owns a house not that far from there where it was going down, where it first was happening, on 66th Street, and I was living in that house at the time. So my sister says, "Dummy, that's the corner of Florence and Normandy." So I was just like, wow, okay. So then we were trying to get our mom not to go to church that night, because our mother, back in the day, passed, for white. So we was just like calling her saying, "Mom, don't go to church tonight because these people are acting crazy." "I don't care what they doing. I'm going to church." That's what she said. So anyway, and then watching the TV, we saw our pastor on TV. That was our pastor, Pastor Benny, that was putting his body over the guy where they took the radio and hit him in the head. And Pastor Benny was standing there with the Bible in his hand. That was our pastor. So it was just a crazy day. And then we were still to this day. I was trying to figure out why was Reginald didn't even stop. I would have just ran me over a whole bunch of people. I wouldn't have stopped. But just want to know, where were you when the riots happened? Then the people were looting and tearing up the city, and I just kept saying, how stupid are you? You tearing up our city where you live, you big dummy. And so when that happened, we had to go way out to, I think, Downey. We went to Downey, to Albertsons, to go to the grocery store, because the grocery stores around our house were all tore up by the next day, and people were like calling you saying, "Oh, did you want stuff?" And I didn't want nothing. And then our dad calls us, I think a week later, and he says, yeah, they're sending me they sending us tapes, because see, our dad was still a parole agent then. They're sending us tapes. Yeah, and if I see any one of y'all on any one of those tapes, I'm coming over to your house personally, picking you up personally, put you in jail personally. See, that's kind of father we have. You're not going to commit crimes and his ass know about it. But I never got anything. They had so many bus drivers that were losing their jobs back then, because I used to drive a school bus for Cardinal Transportation. Back then they had Layla bus drivers losing their jobs, LA Unified drivers losing their jobs. These fools was going places getting. Now they have cameras outside the stores. One lady had put a couch inside her school bus, in the midday, and just dumb stuff like that. And they were just catching school bus drivers, just stealing stuff. How stupid were they? Now that just was not in me to do that kind of stuff. So I never got anything. I didn't really care about getting anything. I hated that Rodney King had got his butt kicked by those officers, and I really hated that they had got away, with doing that. I'm glad they didn't get away when it went to the federal case, but it was just a crazy time in LA, and I never really realized where we live was not all, on the bad side, and where we grew up and the type of environment that we lived in. I never really realized it was supposed to be all that, super special until now when we get older. And then I read an article inside of the New York Times and was talking about like the area that we grew up in. We went to Pacific Palisades High School, all of us, and graduated, and and just our neighborhood that we grew up in was supposed to be the upper middle class area. And then, I mean, I guess so because everybody lived around everybody. We didn't live in an all black neighborhood. I never really lived around just nothing but just all blacks in my whole life. And even since we bought this house, I'm so happy that this neighborhood is not like that. It's just everybody lives here. We have white folks living across the street, Mexicans living in the same subdivision, black folks, no Tongans because they don't have Tongans out here. I haven't saw any Tongans out here in Atlanta. But anyway, I'm glad because I noticed since we moved here to Atlanta that they're just so closed-minded. They don't like to live around everybody, and that's not how I grew up. So, you know, I wouldn't know how that would feel to just never see anybody but black people. It kind of scared me when we first moved here because that happened like the first 2 weeks we were here, and I'm still not understanding why they don't recycle out here. But this is down south, and their minds are closed to the rest of the world. Anyway, let's get back on the riots. I just wanted to know, like, if you're watching this video, where were you? If you were from LA, where were you? How did you view the case of Rodney King and the officers? How did you view what happened in Los Angeles, April 28th, 1992?